Hey there, welcome to my channel. Today in this video tutorial, we will work on the microservices communication along with the deployment of the microservices on AWS. If you are new to my channel, you are most welcome. If you have not subscribed my channel, I would like to request you kindly subscribe my channel right now, because usually I'm putting real-time projects video tutorials only, so you can learn the technology in a more practical way rather than putting basic to-do type of projects. If you have not watched the previous episodes of this series, you can watch it from my channel. I have put the link below, or you can continue from at this point also by downloading the source code of the description below. In the previous episodes, we have worked on how we can kickstart our microservices in Node.js, and we have converted our monolithic Node.js application to microservices architecture by revoking tightly coupled dependencies. Now, the services are isolated with its own environment, and eventually it is communicating through each other through the webhook communication pattern of HTTP. But we have little complexity right here. If one of our services will go down, we cannot revive the pirate event because it is not reachable. So get rid of this kind of situations. The message broker is coming to the picture. So let's understand how message broker is resolving our complexity, which is we are facing right here in this current existing system. Okay. In the existing communication system, and when publisher is publishing some kind of events or the payload, and it is directly calling that the webhook, which is exactly defined in the customer service. And once that the specific webhook is getting called, then customer service is getting updated the data to the database. Right. In this scenario, if the body services are online, then it's perfectly fine. There's no any kind of the complexity or any kind of situation this year. But when the subscriber service is down or the publisher service is down, then the complexity is arising. Whenever our customer service is down right here, okay, there's no any communication channel between like a publisher service and customer service. At that time, whenever the publisher service publishes one event, then it is there is no way to reaching to the customer service. All right. When after a few seconds the customer service is coming online, then customer service is not aware what exactly it's being fired right before maybe few seconds ago by the publisher service. To resolving this kind of situation right here, the message broker is coming to the picture. Here in the message broker, the publisher service and subscriber service both are communicating through a specific channel. Channel has some kind of settings which is exactly the binding the publisher service with the subscriber service. So we are removing this webhook right here. When something is happening in the publisher service, it's need to publish, then it is simply publishing to the channel, right? Which is exactly binding to the subscriber. It doesn't matter like our subscriber service is online or offline. Then if it is online, then instantly that specific payload or the data or event it is getting delivered to the subscriber. And if the customer service is not online as well as, then the specific message or data changes is going to be stored in the temporary storage right here in the message broker. Whenever the customer services come online, then it will receive the previously like maybe few seconds ago whatever is published by the publisher service, it is coming, it is directly getting affected, or it is directly getting delivered to the customer service. So that is this thing exactly it's happening right here. All right, so now we have an understanding how message broker is helping us in this scenario, and what are the complexity it is getting resolved right here. So previously what we did, we have introduced one kind of service which is exactly working as a kind of proxy and to reaching to our services and getting the job done. Alright, so today what we will do, we will work on our existing source code, and we will introduce Nginx as a reverse proxy which will gonna be help us to reaching our services, and our services will be directly communicating with the message broker where the publisher subscriber pattern will come to the picture. Afterward, we will look into the deployment part where we will dockerize our projects, and we will set up our reverse proxy, and we will deploy the whole thing in AWS, and as well as we will set up the continuous deployment as well as. So as soon as you are making some changes, or maybe we are merging our data to the other branch to the master branch, then it will automatically deploy in the AWS. And the AWS will be take care of like exposing the endpoints and where our client will be reaching to our services. Right. So this is the goal today. Let's dive into the source code. Here in the current project, all the services are up and running. This gateway service we are using as a proxy to reach out to our other services. This time we are not going to use this gateway anymore. We will use something else instead of this, right? So let's delete this one. All right, so now I get into the communication of the services. So here inside the product service, I'm going to open this index.js file inside this util directory. These are the two functions exactly responsible for communications with other services. It is simply calling some kind of HTTP calls to certain webhooks, and it's pushing some kind of data from here. And other services also having that this specific webhook call right here. So if you are going to the customer service and inside the APIs and go here in app events. So as you can see, this is the webhooks we are exposing to other services where they can call and they can put some data right here. Okay. As soon as it is receiving some data, then we are processing that specific response with the help of our subscriber method here inside the service class, right? See this one. So the communication will be simply same, but here instead of this webhook, we will be going to implement that the message broker stuff. So as I told you in earlier, to get rid of this kind of issues, like sometimes service is going down or something else gonna be happen, then we don't want to lose any data or any communications, right? All right, so let's add some code in the product service first, because this is the major service which is dealing with the shopping and the customer service continuously. So here in the product service, we need to remove this service because these are the two functions exactly not required here. Right, so I'm going to remove these things from here, and from Axios also not required anymore. So instead of that, we will implement message broker right here. Message broker right here. There are plenty of choices of the message brokers, but in our case, we are going to use the RabbitMQ. If you're not familiar with RabbitMQ, then you can go to their RabbitMQ official site and you can click on the get started and you can install it from here, right? And if you are not willing to install it in your local machine, then you can go for the cloud solution of RabbitMQ. So where just to go to the CloudAMQP.com. So here you can create an account and you can access the same from here also. I will show you the steps once the integration is done. So to integrate the RabbitMQ, we need to install this library, which is called AMQP live. So I'm going to copy these things from here and install. Go to the product service. Here. Paste it. And same thing where I'm going to install for customer and shopping as well as. All right, so let's integrate the message broker in this service. So to integrate the message broker a couple of things we need to do. First of all, we need to create a channel, and after that we need to publish messages, and after that we need to subscribe messages. These are the three things we will do right here. Okay, let's add some code one by one. These are the three functions we are going to use in our service to work with the message broker. Let's add some code right here, and after that you will understand what exactly going on inside the functions. All right. First of all, let's import the library which is we have import right now. This is very well. Yeah. So here what we are doing inside the create channel, first of all, we are creating one connections from here where we need to provide the RabbitMQ, the host URL here, Once we provided the host URL, after that we are just connecting these things. So once the connection has been established, then after that we are just creating one channel here, right? So once this channel has been created, then we are asserting our exchange, right? This exchange is nothing, it's a kind of distributor which is distributing our messages between the queues. It depends on certain configurations, right? So let's understand this whole thing in the diagram. So here we can see this is a kind of publisher, all right, which is a kind of product service. We are going to publish some kind of messages. Exchange is a kind of distributor which is going to be distribute our messages between the queues, depends on the certain keys, right? That specific key will be, we need to bind with this exchange whenever we are just creating our consumer right here. Then a specific consumer will listen to that that specific queue whenever publisher gonna be publish something to this exchange, right? So these are the things exactly happening right here, right here. So far we have asserted our exchange, and now let's understand the publish message. Here in the publish message we need a channel which is already been created right here, and after that we need to publish this specific message to this channel with the help of the exchange name and the binding key. Whatever binding key will be passed, then a specific queue or specific consumer can receive this message, right? So this is the thing is happening right here. Here in the subscribe message we need a channel which is exactly we have created right here, right? And after that we need a binding key and a queue name as well. As this queue name, as you can see in this diagram, we do have a different queue name for different queues, right? Shopping queue and the customer queue, right? So this shopping queue, it's responsible for all the related messages, whatever messages it will be laying down to this queue, that messages it will be relayed to the consumer, right? So here the same way the customer queue also, it's responsible to deliver all messages to the customer, right? So these are the two keys, binding key 1 and binding key 2. That is the binding key, we will pass it right here, and the queue name depends on the services we will define accordingly. Here what we are doing in the binding queue, we are binding this the queue name, whatever queue we are asserting right here, with the exchange name along with the binding key, so we can able to receive the data whatever it's publishing by the publisher. Depends on the binding key. If the specific binding key with match with the binded queue of the consumer, then we will be able to receive the data. So this is the part exactly it's happening. So far I hope you got an idea how exactly all these three functions are working. Okay, let's implement these functions in our service. So a couple of things we need to do. First of all, this message broker URL, let's go to the config here, index. We're going to add this one, and afterwards this exchange name also we need to provide. Binding key, we need to add the binding key here. Alright, so these are the things exactly it's required in the config file. So what do you need to do? Like message broker URL, we need to mention in our environment file, .env file. So let's add over here. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, as well as here also. Good. Now let's import all those things over here in the util file. This is broker URL, and after that exchange name. I think these are the things exactly it's required. So here this queue name and binding key, exchange name, these are all perfectly fine. So let's move to the index file. Here in this index.js file, in the start server function, inside the start server function, right before this express app, we are going to create our channel here. And now this channel we need to pass it to express app. We're simply injecting this channel to here. That's good. Now go to the express app here. Channel, right? Now this channel already we are passing from there, right? So this app events will be no more required. We are going to comment it out. In the products API, we are simply passing the channel over here. All right, so let's go to the products API. Here inside the products API, we need to capture the channel here, because already we are passing from the express app here, this one. And now this channel we need to utilize somewhere, but this time this publish event and all those things will be no more required. Instead of these things, what you will do, like, because this publish message will be do the job instead of the publishing the customer events and all, because these are the webhook calls we are calling it from here. So inside the wishlist we are going to comment it out, and instead of that we are going to do publish message. So publish message is required couple of things. That is going to be like first of all channel will be needed, which is it is coming from here, this one, right? So add the channel. After that, it's required a binding key, because binding key already been added in the configuration file I have. Yeah, see here, the shopping binding and customer binding key. So these are the binding key we need to import here. So that is, it's coming from a configuration file, I guess. Yeah, that's good. So now here, what other things are needed here? And the binding key is needed. So this is customer event, so we will pass the customer binding key. After that, the messages will be needed, right? So but this message data, it's a kind of JSON object. So what you need to do, it is needed the string, okay? So we need to stringify these things from here, okay? So this much is enough. Now just copy these things wherever exactly we are calling this customer event, just comment it out, and we will just use the same, okay? Because inside it, the payload, it will be similar. And this one also again, right? And this one also again, right? So this is good. All right, so now let's jump into the shopping event. So here again, we need to comment this one, and instead of this customer binding key, we will simply pass the shopping binding key. And here also we are just simply commenting out, and we will pass the shopping binding key, right? That's good. So I think everything is all right from this service. That's good. So all done. So now let's move forward to the customer and the shopping, okay? But before that, just to have a try this service, if it is working or not, or if there are any kind of issues here going on, so at least we can debug it right away. Right, since we have a couple of issues here, AppQ, where we are using, yes, so in this util, here we are calling await, but we are not using as an async. Now it's gone. Channel is not defined. Somewhere channel is not defined. Index file, this channel. Okay, so we have a little bit typo here. So let's add these things right here. Okay. Now it's perfectly fine. It's connecting, right? So let's go to the RabbitMQ management console over here. All right, so RabbitMQ is already installed in my computer. So and that's why I'll be able to access these things in my localhost. Okay. So and very first time, whenever you are running the RabbitMQ, is just a login. You need to use the guest, and guest as a username and guest as a password. So logging, no connection. As you can see, this is guest is running. One connection is running over here, right? And if you go to channel, then the same thing. And exchange, you can see this exchange has been created, online shopping, right? But there is no queue. It's all good. Everything is perfectly fine, and it is getting connected with RabbitMQ. Now let's jump into the other part of the consumers. So once the customer and the shopping is done, then we'll do a full round of test. Right. So now let's go to the customer here, and again the same thing we are going to do. First of all, let's grab these things from env file, and we're going to use the same. And here also same. And from the utils, we are going to do again the same thing from index.js file inside the util directory. We're going to copy all this code from here. Util message worker, copy, and just go to the source, go to util index here. Right after this, we're going to paste this one, and here we need to import our AMQP lib. AMQP lib. MQP lib. Right, so here in the customer service, we are not publishing anything, so we are simply removing this part. This is not necessary here. So here, all those parameters like the message broker URL, exchange name, all those things we need to import here. But before that, we need to add these things into the configuration file here. So let's go to the products configuration file. We're going to add all those things from here. Till message broker URL, copy, and now close the products and go to the customer and config. Here, just add these things, right? Exchange name will be same, and shopping binding key. Here, the customer binding key we are going to use, but shopping binding key is not required, so remove these things. So now go to the again inside the util index.js file. Here, this exchange name and message broker URL. Yeah, this queue name also it will be needed because we have not created a queue. Okay, So we need to work with the subscribe message, we need to create the queue name as well as. So let's add these things in here. We are just putting as a name as a shopping queue. Now go here, let's import all those things from here. Config file, queue name, and message broker URL and extension name. Right, these are the things exactly needed. That's fine. Queue name. Right. Here in the subscribe message, this binding key we are not passing from outside, because the customer service only listening to one binding key, which is already we have been declared right here, right? So in that case, we are just removing from these things from here, and simply just assign the binding key, which is we have import from customer binding key, which is we have import right here, the customer binding key, right? And service we need to pass from outside, and then rest of all, I think it's all good. That's good. So now in the same way what we did for the products, we need to do these things for our customer as well as. So I'm going to do these things very quickly. All right, so here, so far we have just connected with our customer service. Here, go to the index. Here we have just created our channel here, and we are just injecting our channel to our Express app, and Express app is passing this specific channel parameter to our customer API. Here in the customer service, we're going to subscribe the messages for here. Okay, so let's subscribe the messages. So first of all, we need to import these things. Subscribe messages, and here subscribe messages will be needed channel, that is we are passing it here. The channel name we need to pass channel, and after that it is required the service. Okay, this is the service class instance, we are just passing it service here. That's good. Now our customer service is perfectly fine, so we should have to listen whatever exactly we are sending from the product service, we should have to listen right here. And the same thing we are going to do for the shopping service also. But before moving to shopping service, let's see whether it is able to communicate with our customer service or not. And yeah, it is connected, right? That's good. That's perfectly fine. All right, here go to the product service and go here. As soon as we are publishing the message, at least we are putting some kind of console log. And here in the customer service, you're going to the util inside here, where as soon as you're received, yeah, we are already receiving these things. All right, so let's test it out whether our customer service is able to listen to our product service or not, right? So let's go to the Postman. So this time our customer service, we are reaching out to the customer service with this specific port number, because we are not using any kind of proxy or gateway. So our customer service will be reachable to the 8001, and product service will be 8002, and the shopping service will be 8003. Right, that's good. All right, so as you can see here in the sign up, customer sign up, we are not using any kind of prefix for customer or product or something else. So here simply we are just accessing this sign up from here. Okay, so I'm going to use some different user ID here. Send. All right, so sign up is successful. Just let's copy this token from here and paste this token here. Paste. See. Now let's go to the products and view product. It's view product, right? Now we can see the plenty of products are here because I am using the old database. Copy this product ID from here and go add to wishlist, and here we are just putting this product ID. Now click here. As you can see, as soon as we are sending the message from there in the publisher, it is reaching out to the customer service as well, saying it's received the data. So where exactly it is getting called, go to the customer service, go customer and subscribe message, because this subscribe message we are already passing this channel, and go to subscribe message. See, this receive data it is getting printed right here, and along with the data also. All right, so as you can see, we are successfully able to communicate with our product service with the customer service. That's good. So now let's replicate the same thing whatever we did for customer with the shopping service. Okay. All right, so let's go to the shopping service. Here, shopping. Here again, we will do the same thing because we are going to copy this environment stuff from here. This URL will be needed. Go to env and paste it here, as well as production env as well as. Now again, we're going to do from configuration file, we are going to copy all those things from here. Right. This queue name will be not the shopping queue, it is gonna be like our customer queue. Customer queue. Right, so let's copy these things from here, copy, and here in the config, go to config and paste it here. And this is not the customer binding key, this is going to be the shopping binding key. Shopping binding key and shopping service. This is also not customer queue, shopping queue. Shopping queue. That's good. Now these are all done. Now let's go to the utils. Here the same thing whatever we did for customer, we need to do the same thing for here also. Just copy all those things from message broker to subscriber. I think for shopping service we are publishing something, right? So it will be more convenient if we get this all this piece of code from the products. So go to products here and go to utils index.js. Just copy all those things from broker to here, copy. And again inside the shopping, go index here. So this piece of code will be not more required. Paste it here. Right, all good. All right, so let's import all those parameters from here in config. So we are going to remove this Axios, and from here first the message broker URL and exchange name, and only this much is enough, I guess. That's good. Here again we are not passing this binding key from outside, so let's remove this binding key. All right, so this queue name we will be using our configuration queue name that is already we have declared in this configuration. So let's import these things also. Queue name, use this queue name, right? And binding key also we are going to use our shopping binding key, right? And all receive data, shopping service. That's good. Now it's perfect. The same way what we did for our customer in the index file, we will be do the same thing here in the server. Here, let me do these things very quickly. Right, so let me do this quickly. Create channel. Now let's create a channel here. Create channel. And pass the channel over here in the Express app. Right, and go to Express app. Here, first let's grab the channel here. And this portion is not required as well. Channel. All right, so let's go to the shopping API here. We need to grab the channel here, and first let's subscribe to these messages, whatever messages coming towards to the shopping service. First remove these things from here and subscribe messages here. Subscribe message will be needed the channel and the service class instance, right? That's good. Now here in the order section we are just publishing the customer event which is calling the HTTP call. So just to comment it out here, we need to use our publish message. Let's import these things here, publish message, and publish message will be needed a kind of channel, and again here the configuration what exactly needed, the binding key also it will be needed. So binding key we need to import that const required config So let's go to config. So ping binding key is there, but customer binding key is not there. So let's get the customer binding key from here. Source config, this customer binding key. Come over here, shopping service, right? And the customer binding key. So because we need to publish some data to customer, so that's why this binding key will be needed right here. So now again, just going to close. In the shopping API, let's import the customer binding key, right here. Simply pass the customer binding key. All right, so here what we did, we just simply passing the channel and the customer binding key, which is because this event we are just publishing to the customer. So that's why we are just we need to pass the customer binding key. After that, the payload, whatever payload we are receiving as a JSON, we are just sending as a string right here. So it will reach to this method right here, and exactly it will pass. So far all good. So let's have a full round of testing of all the services, right? Run the. Okay, something is going wrong. Okay, here in the shopping service, inside the shopping service utils, we have not declared this AMQP lib, right? So because we are using these things, but we forgot to import this one. So const required AMQP lib. I think this time it's gonna work. Alright, so let's go to the RabbitMQ console. Let's see what other things are happening right there. So here, go to the connections. As you can see, there are 3 clients are getting connected over here, right? And go to the exchanges. You can see only one exchange is there, which is a kind of direct exchange, right? Its name is shopping, online shopping. If you go inside this online shopping exchange, you can see there are 2 queues, which is called customer queue. Its a routing key is customer service, and shopping queue is a kind of like routing key is the shopping service, right? The same way it's happening, right? This service exchange and the shopping queue and customer queue, and along with this key name, whatever key is there, yes, like customer service and shopping service, the same key, missing. And this is shopping service. Shopping service. So this is the same scenario it's happening right here, right? So here in the queues, you can see these are the queues exactly. All right, so now we will do something in the product. So let's see whether it is getting updated in customer and shopping as well as or not. So from here, we're going to add to cart some product from here. Go to view product. We're going to add this product from add to cart. All right, and quantity is 1. Let's see. As you can see, body services is got notified, right? So this service as well as this service. Okay. Now as you can see, body services got notified as soon as we are firing some kind of data or payload from this product service. All right. So now what we are going to do, we are going to down one of this service. So the customer service we are going to down, right? So this 8001, the customer service is down. Now we will try to add some data to the wishlist, right? So this data, maybe product, some other products, let's say this product, we're going to add to wishlist. We have already added to the wishlist, so it is got fired from here, but customer service is down, so it's not be able to receive the data. So let's come online the customer service once again. So now as you can see, as soon as we are coming online to this service, it's received the previously fired event, whatever messages it was there. Right. So this is the beauty of the message broker. So now it seems like we are not be able to update the data in our service, right? There's no any cart, no any wishlist and all. So let's handle this last piece of things from this message broker integration. Okay. So I'm going to just close this out first. Now go to the customer service here. Inside the customer service, go to the API, go to customer. Here inside the customer API, in the subscribe message, we are requesting 2 parameters. One is this channel, one is this service. All right. This service is nothing exactly. It's an instance of this service, customer service class. Okay. So what you will do here, go to the customer service class, and inside the customer service class, this is the event exactly. Subscribe event is getting called whenever we are reaching out from the other service. So we need to trigger this function from our message broker. All right, to get these things, we need to go to over here in util, just copy this function name and go to utils, go to index.js. So here in the subscribe message, this service is not in use. So inside the consume, let's add some code here right before the acknowledge the data. Start the function name, and we will simply pass this the data, which is called data.content to string. Right. So here this subscribe event is receiving some kind of data, right? But this subscribe event is receiving mostly the JSON data only. Here we are sending as a string. That part also we need to tackle here. And go to customer service. Here, right before deconstructing all those things as a JSON object, we need to parse this string as a JSON. So payload equal to JSON.parse payload. Right. The same thing we need to do for our this service, shopping service as well as. So let's go to the shopping service quickly. Go to API shoppings and go to API and shopping here and subscribe message. Here also shopping service. We will add these things. Payload equal to JSON.parse payload, and now this is perfectly fine. This subscribe event. Now go to the index util, inside the util, and go to index.js, and inside here the publish message, it's perfectly fine. Inside here, because this service is not in use, so right before acknowledge the data service, the function name, after that just to pass this data.content.toString. Right, that's good. Now again, just let's run the application from here. So run dev. Right, that's good. Now again we are going to do the same thing, but this time we are going to use some different user. The customer sign up. I'm going to use a different user sign up. Right, so let's copy this token here, paste it over here. Now go to view product. Now let's see, profile section is empty, and that's perfectly fine. So add some data to the wishlist. Product view, grab this product ID and add to wishlist. Paste these things, add to wishlist. Yeah, it's the user services got notified, and now go to the user profile. Here you can see the wishlist, it's been added right here. That's good. And now we are going to do the same thing over here. Let's add some product to add to cart. Now the same product ID I'm just pasting right here. Good. Now as you can see, this service also got notified along with the shopping service also got notified, right? So let's go to the customer profile. Let's see what other things are available. As you can see, the cart items also available right here. And inside the shopping service, if you are going to get the shopping cart, then you can see the shopping cart items are available. That's good. Now one thing is pending, that's called like from shopping service. If you're calling something, then it should have to be get affected the customer service as well as, right? Whenever we are placing the order, the customer service also has to notify something has been ordered. So let's do the same thing. So shopping, yeah, create order. This is fine. Transaction ID is, I'm just using some different ID. That's good. So now just create the order. Now as you can see, as soon as we are placing the order, customer services got notified as well as. So now let's go to the customer profile. We should have to see some kind of data inside the order. See, order has been added, right? So now we can see the wishlist item is there, but we wish to remove this wishlist item, right? But at that time, the customer services, let's say it's offline. Okay, I'm going to down the customer service. So customer service is down right now. So I'm going to add this wishlist item, right? And copy this wishlist item from here, and from remove wishlist, remove from the wishlist. I'm going to remove from here. Now I'm going to clear the data from body side. Let's see what's happening. Now see, it's got fired from here, but the customer service is offline. If you go to the RabbitMQ console, right, in management console here, you go to the queue in the customer queue, you can see here get messages. Click on the get messages. Here you can see one message is pending, which is called exchange name is the online shopping and routing key is the customer service, and these are the data exactly, right? So now let's get back online the customer service once again, right? Now see, it's removed from the wish list, right? So now if we are going to call the customer profile, then it should have to remove. Yeah, see, it's removed right here. Okay, and now, so again, if you go to the RabbitMQ console and go to customer queue, now you can see get message, the queue is empty. I hope you people got an idea how exactly the message broker is working for microservices communication. So far we are using our RabbitMQ from the local host only. So what we are going to do, we are going to use the cloud instance. To use the cloud RabbitMQ as a service, we just go to the CloudAMQP.com and just sign up right there. So I have already signed up, so I'm going to log in from here. And it's already been logged in, so I'm going to create a new instance here. Right, I am going to add some name over here, and here I'm going to use the free tier because it's a kind of demonstration purpose only. But if you are using for your company or something else, then you can select the tier as per your uses. Right, so select the region. So I'm going to use the SEO region over here and click on review. Just review all those things over here and click on the create instance, right? So it's been created. So now go to the RabbitMQ manager here. This is the panel exactly same we are using for our localhost. So this time we are not going to use the localhost. We will be using the cloud RabbitMQ URL, right? So to use that URL, go to the instance over here and click on here. Here you can see this is the URL exactly, and just click on this icon. You can see this is the URL, and just copy this one. Okay, and I'm going to use this URL over here in the environment file of each service. So go to the environment file here, paste these things, and so now you can see this URL is pretty much like different, right? So this is the protocol exactly, and afterward this is the user ID and this is password, and after that this is the host name exactly, which is we are providing. Okay, but here we can see after the host name this is something is different, right? So this is called virtual host exactly. So this is what virtual host it is, because for our local host we are using our default virtual host. This is gonna be like our root, right? So we can create our virtual host by clicking on the admin, and from the virtual host here you can create our virtual host. Virtual host is nothing, it's a kind of logical separation of your projects and all this stuff in RabbitMQ, right? So which is you are getting right here by default, right? This one. What we are going to do, we are going to use this one. Let's see how exactly it is happening. Right now there is no any connection, no any channel, no any exchange and queue as well as. So let's see. Right here, I'm going to connect my product here. Run. Right, it's connected. Now go to customer, and now go to the shopping as well as. Right, it's got connected. There is no any error. Right, so close all the files. Close all. Right. Now as you can see in the cloud console, there are 3 connections are established perfectly, right? In the go to channel, see. So this is the username exactly, right? So and here in the exchange you can see this is already been created, online shopping, and the queue, if you go to the queue, then you can see the customer queue and shopping queue has been created, right? So now let's see, let's communicate from our product service. Again we are going to do like customer sign up for different user. Now 12, now it's been created, copy, and we're going to use this one over here, paste. Now go to product view. First product we're going to add to our wish list. Yeah, it's been added to our wish list. Go to the customer profile, you can see wish list item is added. Now we're going to add to cart the same item, Docker. Yeah, this body services got notified. Now go to the customer profile again. Once again, see its card has been added, and the shopping cart as well as in the shopping service as well as go to the shopping cart and see the shopping. It's already been added. All right, so we have covered perfectly the whole the microservices communication through message broker. Some more advanced stuff is there where exactly we will discuss in maybe in upcoming episodes, where what is called regarding that the exchange type and what are the bindings we can do, or what are the advanced stuff we can do with the message broker. So that part we will be covered. Let's move our project to the next level. So far we have integrated the message broker and it seems working perfectly. Now even if our service is down temporarily, still it is able to revive the previously fired events. But one thing is missing here, the Nginx reverse proxy. So Nginx reverse proxy will help us to discover our service with a certain endpoints. Currently our services are exposed publicly with a certain port number, which is not an ideal process to deploy on the cloud. Nginx will handle by listening to the default port number on the host. So that part we need to do. But before that we need to dockerize our project first. Then only we can expose the whole thing with the help of Nginx reverse proxy. So if you are not familiar with Docker, then go to the docker.com and click on the developers, click on the getting started. So here you can install the Docker desktop and you will get the instruction how to install and all those things from depends on your machine. So I am using the Mac Apple chip, so I have already installed this one. So and once it is successfully installed, launch the Docker desktop, and right now since it is running in my machine, so this is running in my machine. And if you wish to know more about the Docker, how exactly it is working, just click on the developers once again and click on the docs. So here you will get the all details like how exactly it is working. Now in this tutorial, I'm not going to discuss about how Docker is working and what is Docker, etc. So maybe in different tutorial, I'll be explain how the container is working and how to manage the containers in some advanced way. So I'm going to close this one and let's move forward to the our project here. Here, I mean, first of all, we need to dockerize the stuff. So let's go to the source code. Here seems like there are 3 services are there. So we are going to start with the customer. So here I'm going to create one Docker file. Click on the new file. So here we will add a couple of codes in order to work with the Docker. In this Docker file, we are just creating our container from a base image that is going to be like node, and after that we are defining our working directory, and then we are just copying our package.json file where our dependencies are whatever dependency we need to install that is residing here. After that we are installing the dependencies, and then we are just copying the whole source code, whole directory, and then we are exposing the port here, and finally we are just starting our npm start. That is going to be like run from here, right? This one. That's good. So these are the things exactly it's happening. So same thing we are going to do for other services also. So I'm going to copy this Docker file from here, copy, and product, paste it here. Here only things gonna be changed, that is a customer. This customer will be no more. Here instead of customer we will put products, and the port number will be different. That's gonna be like 8002. Rest of all is fine. Copy, and again we are just pasting the same file over here and inside the shopping as well as paste it. Yes, so here it is gonna be like shopping, and here port number will be 8003. That's all. So our services are ready with the Docker. Now what we are going to do, we are going to introduce one proxy that is going to be like our Nginx. So let's create a directory here. Inside the proxy, what we are going to do, we are going to create one file again. Inside this Docker file, we will add some code in order to run the Nginx container from the Nginx batch image. So let's add the codes here. So what we are doing right here, first of all, we are just creating our container from the base image. So after that, we are removing the existing configuration file from there, and then we are just copying once again the Nginx configuration file to this location. So this file doesn't exist at all, so we are going to create this file. So here we will add some code, so which is going to be take care of the proxy the services here. I'm going to quickly add the code here, and after that I will make you understand what exactly is happening right here. All right, so let's understand what exactly is going over here. So worker processes is a kind of process, how many process are we are just handling by the Nginx, that is we are defining right here. Say if we have only one processes and it's gonna be like only 256 if you are defining right here, that means one processes can handle only 256 connections, right? That is going to be worker connections is going to be handled by the Nginx. So here what we are doing 4 processes. Every process worker connection is going to be handled by 1024. Okay, that is going to be like 4 processes in terms of like 1024 into 4. That is going to be like 4096 maybe. Yes, 4096 connections is going to be handled, right? So that is we are defining here. So here inside the HTTP end server we are listening to port number 80. And curset we are putting just a UTF-8, and after that, as soon as it is reaching to this root location, then we are just passing to this service, right? All right, so you might have thinking like why we are putting as a product 8002, because as soon as our service, our container will be run, then we will be reaching to our services with the name of this one. Okay. After that, these are some configurations which is exactly it's needed by the Nginx, so we are just defining right here. Okay. So same thing we are going to do for other services as well as. So let's copy these things from here, paste it here. But this time what we are going to do, this time we need to reach to our other services. So like put like this way, and here the caret symbol will be needed. So which is you can find it by shift 6, and after that just put our service name, shopping, but this time it's 8003. And let's copy these things from here again, paste it down here. Again we will put our customer, right? But here what we need to do, we need to change these things to customer as well as, right here. This one is 8001. And one additional thing we need to do here, so here one thing we need to put the rewrite rule as well as. Alright, so our configuration file, it seems alright. So what we are going to do, we are going to create one more file which is going to be help us to run the container together. So create a new file. This is going to be like docker compose YAML. Yes. So here we will put couple of codes. Here inside the services we are using our local machine database, right? So that is we are not going to do, because as soon as we are deploying these things to the cloud, then it is not reachable to our local machine. So instead of that, we are going to introduce one more container that is we will host together in the cloud. So it will reach internally from the Docker container. That is we need to do here. So let's add these things over here in the Docker compose file. So this is the database container which is we are going to run, and we need to hook up our services with this container, right? So go to the env.env file, because development anyway we are running from the local machine. So here only .env file we need to make this change. So instead of this localhost, we are simply putting like NoSQL DB. That's all. Rest of all is gonna be fine, right? So the same thing we are going to do in other places as well as. So go to customer service, product service here, env. Just simply paste it here, and shopping service as well as go here. That's good. Just close all. Now our database is set. So what we need to do, we need to define our other services as well as. So let's add one by one. Alright, so here in the product service, we are just putting the bill. So here we can directly put this context as well as. But in my case, I'm just putting the Docker file definitions and the context as well as. After that, I'm just putting container name, because I don't want any kind of anonymous name for these products. So at least I can determine like the product, this container is a product container. And after that, the port number I'm just defining here and putting restart is always if something's going to be happen or something wrong is going to be happen, then it will automatically restart. So it depends on, I'm just putting right here because these product services depends on the MongoDB, this NoSQL DB. So that's why I'm just putting right here. And volume we are just adding because we need the reference of the node modules and all those things. Okay. So this service is perfectly fine. Let's just copy this service, and I'm going to put one more. And this time this is going to be like our shopping service. All right, so all these services are here. We need to add Nginx as well as. Let's add Nginx here. Let's run our Docker containers together. So here, Docker compose build up. All right, so here we are getting some kind of error for NoSQL DB this container. So what it is saying, it's not be able to assign this port number because it's already in use. So let's see. Yes, so this host container port number, this port number, it's already been used. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put 27018, right? So this port number, let's do these things once again. All right, so it is up and running. That's a good sign. So let's go to the RabbitMQ management console. Over here in the connection, you can see there are 3 connections has been established because we are using the cloud RabbitMQ console. And queue here, you can see there are 2 queue has been it's created, and exchange also the same way. This exchange has been created right here. And I'm not going to test it over and over again because we did the same thing and repeatedly several times. As I told you in the diagram, we have Dockerized the services, and we have set up the reverse proxy as well as. Now it's time to deploy the whole thing in AWS. For a while, we will be deploy the whole thing in Elastic Beanstalk. In later or maybe upcoming episodes, we will be deploy the whole thing in different instances because there we need to set up the deployment process also. Maybe with the help of the code pipeline, we will be deploy whole thing from the GitHub directly to the AWS instances. So here we are putting all those things, everything in one single instance. All the container is residing in one single instance along with our database, right? So keeping the database in this one single machine, it's not a good idea, right? So we can keep the database in a separate instance, so which is going to be locally accessible from the AWS instance. So that's a kind of different advanced part, which is I'm going to cover in future episodes. So let's do these things first, right? And after that, we will be access the whole thing from our AWS endpoint. Good. Now I'm going to open my AWS console. All right, so now I am just logging into my AWS console here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the Elastic Beanstalk here. So here we will create one application and we will put some kind of name, shopping, and we will select a platform over here. We will select Docker. Here we will select the supported platform. So this one, Docker running on 64-bit Amazon Linux 2. And platform version, it's recommended 3.4.6. That's perfectly fine. We will be not uploading any kind of sample application. We will upload our own code. Okay, so here we need to just to provide our source code. So what we are going to do, let's go to the project here. I'm going to close these things from here, right? That's good. For a while, just minimize this postman and save all those things. And now here inside, yes, this log is not required. Remove this log, and package.log.json file, this is we are going to delete along with the node module also, right? Remove. And now this db directory also not required. Remove. And so now our project is clean. So let's go to Rebellion Finder. We're going to just select all those things and archive from here. Okay, compress. All right, so our archive has been created. So it's only 46 KB. Just need to upload this thing right here, the file. this archive, drag it here. Now open. Upload it successfully. Now go to application code. We don't need to add anything over here, just to create the application. Okay. That's good. So now it may take a couple of minutes. So let's wait for to create the whole application. Once this is created successfully, I will get back to you. Finally, successfully, we have created our application after a long time. So now we can test it out, our application. All right, click over. This is our endpoint. Click on here. So you can see there is no any product or nothing. I'm going to copy this link from here, and let's go to RabbitMQ console. Here you can see it's connected. All right, it's perfectly connected. And Exchange also, already we have this Exchange, and queue also it's getting created right here. That's good. That's a good sign. So let's go to the Postman here. Change the environment variable. Click here. Click on edit. Slash is not needed. Slash is not required. Slash is not required. That's good. Save it. Now go to product view. Click on product view. There's no any product. Let's create a product here. Yeah, it's created. Click over here and click on product view. Yes, product is available. All right, so now you can see we can able to create the products from here. So as many as product we can create right here, and the same way we can add we can sign up our customer, and the shopping and all those services is going to be available with the help of the reverse proxy. So if you go here in the RabbitMQ console, then you can see in the connection there are 3 connections has been established, and along with the 2 queues, right? So if you go to this endpoint from here, then just to click on over here, then you can see the list of products, whatever products we have added right there. In the same way, it's going to be accessible for our other services also. I hope you people got an understanding how exactly the microservices communication is happening with the help of the message broker, right? And finally, we have Dockerized our services, and we have set up our reverse proxy to reaching out to our service and deploy it on the AWS. In the upcoming tutorials, we're going to work on the continuous deployment setup, where we will push our source code to the Git repository or maybe some other repository, and instantly it will deploy to the AWS, right? So that's all for today. I hope you like this video tutorial, and if you really like this video tutorial, give me a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed my channel, subscribe it right now, because a lot of useful contents I'm gonna put in this in the channel. So have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.